Ladies and gentlemen, I have an exciting announcement. The first SunDial puzzle has been completed. After a long time, much preparation, hours upon hours of design work, over 700 sketches, hundreds and hundreds of prototype iterations, the first SunDial puzzle box I am completely happy and thrilled with and pleased to share with everybody who purchased this puzzle. And I can't wait for everybody's reaction on it. So I'm going to be shipping these slowly over the next few months as I build them. I'm going to try and get at least one a day for the next week, and then I'm going to start amping it up. I'm going to try and get 2 a day. I think the max I'd be able to get out on this box with the number of people I can get helping me right now is about 4 per day, but that's going to be after we still figure out how to engineer this thing, build this thing efficiently. So what do you guys think of the box? I mean, I really like it. I think it looks really cool. It could be, I think possibly this is the coolest looking box I've ever made. It definitely has a style all its own. It's not the modern kind of artsy or Art Deco box like the Jack in the Box was, but it's got its own feel to it. I'm really thrilled with it. I don't know. It just, so many things on this box had to be reworked, and we've had to try so much on this box because it's so complex. It takes the machine over 7 hours just to cut the box parts out, let alone us putting that all together, coloring it the color that it needs to be, gluing everything, staining it, finishing it, sanding it, all that stuff. So it's a complex box, and there's puzzles, multiple puzzles in here. And so there's moving pieces, mechanics, all that stuff. But we learned so much on this box, from how to run a laser cutter, how laser cutter can help us make boxes better. We learned things with 3D printing, how to use a 3D printer to make prototype parts. We're even making some super complex parts in here from a 3D printer. Now, disclaimer, you're not going to be able to see them because they're buried deep inside the box. But a 3D printer can actually make parts that you can't make on a CNC mill or out of wood, because they'd be too brittle out of wood. So we print them on a 3D printer. There's just tons of little things in here that I learned that now I want to try in new puzzle boxes. So I'm gearing up to make some new boxes. Also, I've got some ideas in Fusion that I'm sketching out. And I will have some new puzzles coming out soon as well, so keep your eyes peeled for those. Just to demonstrate how difficult or how challenging this puzzle was, I'm just going to take one piece in particular. Just take a look at this top gear here. So this gear, first of all, this is what they call planetary gears, when you have gears that turn gears within gears. That's called like planetary gears. And so this concept was actually Stickman's idea, to have planetary gears with like the Mayan calendar on it. But making this actually work in wood is difficult, because wood likes to contract and expand. And when you have a huge gear like this, you have a lot of area of wood, a lot of surface area of wood that spans across a wide place, but doesn't have a lot of support in the center. So what happens is the wood starts to shrink. And if you think about wood fibers, the tree grows up like this, and there's a whole bunch of fibers that shoot the water up and the nutrients up into the tree. The fibers, as the wood shrinks, tend to collapse like this. So the wood gets shrinks in this direction, shrinks, what would you call it, tangentially, but it doesn't shrink vertically as much. Those cells don't actually collapse this way. So what that means is for a piece like this, you'll actually have lots of shrinkage this way, but you won't have shrinkage this way. So your circle in the gear ends up being out of round as much as like an 1/8 inch. So if you make a gear like this, it'll like shrink this way and then it won't be circular anymore, which is a disaster. And then if you stain it, which this is not the correct wood anyway, but if you stain it, then you get all kinds of warping issues, and that was just a total nightmare. I made probably like 50, at least 50 of these gears, and I was trying to figure out the dilemma of how we actually make that work with such a huge gear with no support and make it flat and all this other stuff. And you know, I went to plywood. I tried plywood. This was actually cut 100% on the laser cutter, but it doesn't look like it was hand carved like this ring on the CNC carver did. So that wasn't good. I mean, yes, it's flatter, it's more round. It doesn't shrink and expand like it does because there's multiple layers holding it together, but I just didn't like it. Josh didn't like it. So what I ended up doing was I ended up cutting the gear into 6 different pieces, and then I put leather in between. So what happens is this gear is actually not connected, but there's leather buffers so that the pieces can actually expand and contract, but it still functions as a gear and it still works perfectly and it lays flat. And so now it was just, and it looks cooler. It looks way cooler too. It's a win all the way around, but it took a long time to figure that out. And it's a really cool idea, but it's not something that you would think of right away. So, and you wouldn't think it worked either very well, but turns out it works great. You know, you know, you got to keep an open mind when designing and be creative and try new things that you think you know, you're not sure if they're going to work or not. So that's the story of this SunDial puzzle, just experimenting, trying new things, and ultimately full of energy now because I've learned so much that I want to put into new puzzle boxes and design new boxes. So it's a win all the way around. It's just taking me 6 months longer to get this box off the ground than I wanted, but we're gonna move forward. We're gonna be shipping these very soon, so everybody stay tuned and don't go anywhere because I'm going to be making more videos now that I have a little bit more time, and I'm going to be launching some new puzzle boxes soon, so stay tuned for those as well. I'm excited about some designs I'm working on right now, and some other people are helping me with some stuff too. So thank you everybody for watching. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you again later. Goodbye.